Welcome to Moss Marketing Mondays, aka the M3 Podcast. Brought to you by Moss Marketing Group, bringing you everything marketing every Monday. Stay tuned for marketing tips and tricks you can use today. The M3 Podcast, marketing knowledge to help you succeed. Let's get started.
Yeah. So jump week, you have to do 5 jumps. A couple during the day?
Three day jumps normal.
2 night.
It's 2 Hollywood. In Hollywood, it's no equipment. Then 1 fully equipped. Then night jump. Then night equipped.
Yeah, Hollywood is you're just in your uniform, boots, and you just have a parachute on.
And you don't realize how awesome that is until you do equipped, and then you go
Combat, you have your heavy ruck that's tied to you, and then you have your weapon. Yeah, you have your weapon that's tied to your waist.
Dude, I never had that shit figured out.
Yeah, so after you exit the aircraft and make sure your chute's open, make sure you're not going to crash into someone in midair, then you got to start.
What height are you at normally when you guys are jumping?
1,200 feet. Yeah, so it's high enough to where you can see the detail on the ground. Long
enough to know that it sucks.
So then there's a certain height where you want to drop your equipment. And when I say drop your equipment, it's on a line. So you're going to pull a tab and it's going to drop I don't know how far.
75.
I thought it was like 20, 30 feet below you. Yeah. But it's just hanging off of you. But there's a certain height where you want to drop it because if the weight of your pack starts to swing back and forth, then you're going to start swaying and you're going to come in hard. You're going to come
makes
burning
sense.
in, yeah. So, and the ones at night, I think you mentioned this on the last podcast. You can't see the ground. You don't know when the ground's coming. You can't see the horizon. You can't see shit. Yeah, so
just prepared for bracing.
Yeah. So like him, what I did is I just got in my position and I just wrote. I'm just like, okay, here we go, and I just wrote it in. So you just hope for the best.
How long are you falling for at that height?
Not that long.
Not long at all.
A minute?
I feel like 1,200
Less
isn't
than
that high.
Less than that.
No.
But you
You're
guys
coming in
jump
pretty
out,
low.
but the parachute opens immediately.
It's 5
Static
seconds.
line.
Yeah, static lines.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah. So you have a line. You have a yellow line that's attached to your parachute, and then they hook it to your chest. And then once you get in the aircraft, you sit down, you get up to altitude. Then when you all stand up to get ready to jump, you hook your line up to another line, or you hook your line up to a line that runs the length of the aircraft. And then when you jump, it automatically pulls your chute. So
I was gonna say, I feel
that's
like
when
that
you
is
see all that the pop of the chute, and then you're counting, and then if you
6
don't
seconds.
if you go past 6 seconds, then I probably should pull my reserve but that's why you always want to feel that pull. Then you're inspecting your risers, trying to, for me, every time untangling them. But yeah, that's kind of how that goes.
yeah, so you count the seconds or 6 seconds, and if your chute's not open, then you're having a bad day. You need to pull your reserve immediately, and if you don't,
you're hitting the ground pretty hard.
yeah.
I feel like that's one thing movies do portray somewhat decent.
Is
How people come out of that, because all I'm picturing is like Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Like when they're all coming out immediately right after
Yep.
the landing, it's just like
Yeah.
you have like just planes flying over and then just like hundreds of people coming down.
Yeah.
And then do you guys do anything in that training with like equipment coming out, like behind you or in front of you?
That comes at our unit.
They do.
We
They
do
do
that,
sling
but-
loads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not at airborne school, but at regiment we would do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you do your 5 jumps, and actually,
I thought it was going to be a lot more than 5 jumps.
You would think.
I thought there was going to be if you would have had me guess some number,
Yep.
I would have said every bit of probably like 30 or 40.
No, that would be like a career worth for some people. And when I say a 5-year career worth, how many? A jump a quarter, or what is it? A minimum to keep your airborne status? A jump.
I think you have to have
1 jump per.
I thought you had to have 4 jumps a year. I thought.
That's yeah. So it's not a lot as you would think, because standard static line airborne operations, it has not been a method of war for us in a long time.
Yeah,
It's not
which makes more sense. But I was just thinking like,
But you're thinking, and what most people are thinking, are MFF, military freefall, and that's the tier above airborne school of static line, where those guys have completely controlled chutes, and at that course, very, very difficult, very, very long. In that, I think they're jumping upwards of 35 times. I think they're doing however many per day. And then those guys, they'll have 35 static line jumps, and they'll have, 150. I mean, crazy numbers of jumps.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if you're going to be doing that, like, it's something I would probably be pretty fearful in the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you just slow my ass out of it a few times, I would probably get.
You do.
After a few times, but okay, this isn't. I was making it way worse in my head.
Yeah, definitely.
That as you start doing it, but I was thinking it was something just like repetition. Then all of a sudden you're going to be like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
And every airborne unit jumps more. And I would say, I'd probably say regiment and SF probably jump the static line the least. Whereas if you go to the 82nd, those boys are jumping all the time.
I was gonna say, what is that, like, this day and age, what is that used for?
It doesn't.
Well, so airborne is designed to get a shit ton of troops on the ground quickly behind enemy lines.
To season
I think-
airfield, typically.
Well, that's what it's used for
Yeah.
now. If we need to seize an airfield,
Yeah.
because strategically you want to seize the airfield because then you have control of.
They can't put anything up. Taking
You
And
can
then we
get
can start
then
getting,
you can get
we can start
equipment
getting
in there.
conventional
Yeah.
war troops in.
So like nowadays that would be primarily what it's used for is to seize an airfield.
And I just feel like in today's world that takes place is just sitting ducks in the sky. That we have too many.
Yeah.
There's too many.
The Geneva Conventions was always you were not allowed to shoot unarmed paratroopers on whatever, but I do think our enemies are going to follow that guidelines. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But that's why it's a night. That's usually why. Well, for Ranger Regiment and I think 82nd too, it's all night jumps, so they can't shoot you in the air anyway.
Yeah.
But that's like a part of our training too. On those, we do the night jumps, and again, all your equipment's stowed away. So right when you land, you're immediately getting your gear in action and ready to get to work quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, we jump less than the 82nd, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get done with that. Did you go? So what comes after that for you?
After airborne.
Yeah.
Well, after you graduate RASP, you get assigned to a battalion.
Well, and talk because he'll talk about phase 2 for RASP, because especially if you as being a cop and actually having tactical experience where I had none.
Yeah, phase 2 is fun because that's where they.
After Coal Range, you graduate from phase 1. That's your hell week, and you get into phase 2, and
That's where it's actually fun. You get to shoot. They give you your rifle. You get to shoot. Then you got demo week where you're actually building explosives and you get to detonate your own explosives.
So that stuff I look at, and once again, I mean the normal person's perception of what people are learning and going through all the time. Like I look at, I've been into fitness. Like I could be way more fit, but it's like I feel like it's so focused on the fitness and the physical side that I'd be like, how do I get people so comfortable on weapons all the time, on the like explosive on these things? The more people that are comfortable around these things, the better suited they are to go into action.
Yeah. So phase 1 is that's the physical animal. That's where you have to run, ruck, and it's just
get smoked.
You're physically getting beat down. And then phase 2 is where they kind of build you back up and they teach you actually job skills, how to shoot, how to build door charges. And then
they're giving you just a real quick snap. They were like, okay, these guys are physically, mentally tough to survive that quick little 4 weeks. Give them 4 weeks to kind of learn a little bit of job skill, but we're not going to spend too much time because every team and every platoon is different. They'll do different charges. There's a lot of stuff that's standard, standard SOP. Then there's standard operating procedures. Then there's stuff that's just, hey, this team does it a little bit differently. So why spend too much time teaching them this when they're just going to have to brain dump it at the next, at their different battalion.
So is that the point when teams start getting specialized?
Yes. Yeah, that's really where it starts. Like everybody has their different way they do things. Yeah.
Yeah, so you graduate and they assign you one of 3 battalions, first, second, third. First is in Savannah, that's where we got assigned. And then
is that when you two finally met?
Yeah, that's where we met. Yeah.
Yeah, I got there first. I was there for, I don't even know how long I was there, a year maybe?
Yeah, maybe a year. Yeah.
And then this guy showed up. And
is this, so did you go into land nav?
Oh, I've done plenty of land nav. Yeah.
So were you more successful than Hank was with land nav?
Truly, honestly, I'm not very good at land nav.
Did you?
I'm just good enough. I'm just good enough.
Well, I don't think Hank passed it.
Comparing, and everybody will know, comparing the Star Course to Fort Benning, RASP, air.
Yeah, that what he
land nav
did.
Bringing up excuses?
Oh, I'll make excuses because everyone will go like 40-kilometer movements, 2K movement. Yeah, no, it's night and day. So when I got to doing the RASP land nav, that was easy. It was a breeze because I had the frame of reference. If I hadn't have had the Star Course, it would have been very difficult. But because I had such good training from the Star, then when I got back to Benning, because I've done land nav there already in infantry school, so I was like, oh, I know that this is.
So why did you have to go to that land nav? And
because I was an 18X guy. I didn't get the option 40, so I listened to, you know what I mean. He was
different
like, hey,
contracts.
and I was just like, I got that, and then I was unsuccessful, and then I was either return and stay at Bragg and do it all over again. But I only knew I had 5 years. I was like, that's going to eat 6 months, or I can roll the dice, see if I can get this option 40, and then go. And that was the original goal. Once the awesome cadre at Bragg said, hey, no, you can do it. Boom, I went and then just off to the races. And so it was one door, closes, the window opens, but that was always my goal in the long run. So I was very lucky in that respect. So then I was able to take the lessons I learned, especially just all the failures. I mean, just so much humble pie to then take it over there. I had my ego was crushed at that point.
See, that was one of those things I was actually really intrigued to see how your land nav went, because I feel like listening to his story, it was just like it was dialed, it was running, it was gunning. Land nav was just like bam, that was the kick in the nuts.
It's like I was sad, but still making it sad, still making it sad, making it, and then they really just kicked me in the nads and brought me down.
The land nav course he did, the Star course, that's a whole different animal. In a different aspect.
Yeah.
But what's different is in RASP, you do multiple iterations. So you do like multiple 4 to 5 hour iterations. Which the Star course is just
2 13-hour days. Yeah.
Distance. You're going far. In RASP, you're not going as far, but you're doing it over and over and over. So you'll do a 4 to 5 hour iteration, and then they'll bring you back.
You get
smoked, and then
When you say get smoked, what is that?
whatever they decide. Hey, build a structure, run.
Buddy carries. Crawl to the wood line, which is like 2-3 football fields away.
Yeah.
So you do a 4 to 5 hour iteration out in the woods by yourself, come back, you get beat down, and then as sun starts to set, you do another 4 or 5 hour iteration. And these are just practice iterations. These are to get you ready for the actual test, which is 2 iterations. Right? I think day into night, night into day. Yeah. No, so I don't know if this was on a practice iteration. It was just piss and rain. And
it always is.
In RASP, there's little dirt trails, but they become almost like mudslides. It's like they're like little clay paths.
Yeah, Georgia clay.
It was raining so hard, and I couldn't see my map. I couldn't see where I was going. And I was all the way at the top of the map, and I took a wrong turn, and somehow I ended up on some guy's farm. I was like, there's a bunch of cows and shit. I was like, there's no way. I was like,
there's no cows on my fucking map.
Yeah, I was like,
he's going in the guy's house back, bro. Where the fuck am I at?
Dude, please give me a glass of water.
So what I didn't know is I was at a.
You see if you had any breadsticks in there? Olive Garden breadsticks.
Yeah. I was at an attack point, so I was at this point to where I was going to shoot my azimuth and go a certain direction, but I was so like tired and delirious and just soaking wet, and I couldn't see shit. My map was wet, and
you only get one map.
Yeah, and I shot instead of shooting left, I shot right for whatever reason.
You're tired.
My math wasn't mathing on my azimuth, and I ended up in this like pasture with a bunch of cows, and so you're on GPS too. They know exactly where you're at. How'd they do that? How's
dog collars?
Yeah.
Shock if you got too far out.
Yeah, so you had GPS devices on your person. I think it's kind of for a safety thing, like in case you go down, they can find you, or in case you're trying to cheat on land nav.
Yep.
I mean, Hank almost died, and I think his buddy saved him.
Yeah.
Jack saved him.
Props, Jack.
Yeah, so I was up on this dude's farm, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm out of bounds," and I was just afraid that I was going to get kicked out. So
This sounds like Hank's story.
Yeah, so
It all sounds real similar.
So I was like, "How can I get back in bounds? I need to go back the same way I came." But right as I thought that, here comes a fucking truck flying up the dirt road. I'm like, "Oh shit, that's Cadre."
You're about to get gone.
So I ran into the woods.
They won't find me.
I ran into the woods and jumped down in this ditch, and they drove the truck through the field where the cows were, all the way up to the wood line, and were flicking their brights on and off. And what's funny is my roster number was 10, and they're like, "Roster number 117. We know you're out there." I was like, "Is there somebody else out here?" So
Someone else with the cows?
Dude. So I didn't say shit. I was like, "He ain't looking for me. I'm roster number 10." He's like,
wrong fucking dude, bro.
yeah. So what I think they did is like they mismatched the numbers with the GPS, but
You're like, bet, dude. I'm
no,
going
because
in.
117's sitting right next to you going like, shh.
He's like, shh, don't say a word.
They kept yelling.
I'll give you a breadstick, bro. I got that dude's house over there.
But they kept yelling at roster number 117. We know you're up. We know where you're at. And I was like, fuck. And then I could hear the footsteps start coming. I'm like, I'm fucked. So I just gave myself up. I'm like, oh my God. So I just gave myself up. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm lost. I fell down this ditch. And they're like, get in the truck. So I got in the truck.
I never heard this before.
Yeah. So I was riding in the back of the truck, and it was cold, wet.
Oh, it's always colder and wetter.
And it was miles back to the main area, and I was just bumping in the back of the truck, and I was like,
You're like, 117's fucked.
I was like, it's over. I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
It's over. But they just made me wait till everybody else got back, and because that was just a practice iteration. So
Oh, okay. That wasn't your test.
I thought that was your
right
test.
on. Yeah.
No,
But still, you could get dropped during your
So
practice.
I think I have a new business plan. I think we make waterproof maps for the Army.
No.
And you know what's funny is a part of it is like, hey, you know, you have your packing list, and one of them is, hey, get a sleeve.
yeah,
But
so,
you'll go to what is that place, Gin Jackson's or Ranger Joe's, and all those different
Ranger
places
Joe's,
at Bragg and Benning, and they'll have different map covers, and some they're perfectly waterproof. There's one that every dude bought, and it was one side was waterproof, the other side was so I got my map thing, and it's just completely soaked. You're like, fucking Ranger Joe's.
yeah, I got a lot of land nav stories. Getting lost and
That was I was dying laughing listening to his land nav story on the first one. I was just like,
Dude, land nav at the the Star. There was a moment I remember before we even stepped off, and I think of this like when we talk about perspective on what a bad day is. And I remember my boy Jones is sitting in front of me. I'm behind him. We're all in our green duffels. We just got bussed out to do land nav after a long week of testing, and we're all pretty tired, about to kick off. Of course, it starts raining, and they say, hey, you have 5 minutes to eat your MRE, and we'll start. And I remember just sad. You're just opening up your shitty MRE, and you have a time hack to finish it, and you're just frustrated, and you're eating it. And Jones and I just look at each other, and then we look, because we were at 20, we were together since 30th, and we look over, and there's just this stud, you know, there's no rank, but he's a senior NCO. Like, he's been in the military for a while. And we look over. I won't say his name because he's in now and he's still doing stuff, but we became friends. But I looked over, and he's sitting there, and he's just chipper. And his little pouch of fettuccine is just getting full of water. And I'm sad. Jones is sad. And he's over there, and he goes, good lunch. And just whisper.
He's like, you're so
And
fucked.
he just, and it's going all over, and he just goes, good lunch. And just that point, we both looked, and Jones and I start cracking up. And from that point on, it'll never be worse than that moment where I just look over, and just any time I think of something's happening, like, it's good lunch.
dude, I think
funny.
about just how hard they break people in like every aspect, that just from an eating perspective. Like, you talk about having these MREs and having like the food that's what breaks so many people, that they fail right at that spot.
Yeah. Sleep deprivation, food deprivation, all that.
That's
just tax he's on.
Hey, you guys need to follow 1989. The dude eats different rations from different eras on YouTube, and he tests them. It's actually pretty cool because he's like, some of them he'll eat. He's like, this is a good meal. Some of them he's like, this
Damn,
is just
not a
straight
good meal.
trash.
Oh,
Let's check that out.
This is apparently what Dre does in his free time.
Hey, you know, like if you're building a bunker like in your house and you're like, if I wanted
hey,
to.
yeah. Which one? Chili with beans.
Yeah.
My go-to.
Yeah. Is that your favorite MRE?
Oh, that was my go-to. Chili with beans.
Beaver?
Cowboy breakfast.
Probably whatever has the best dessert. I don't know.
That was always, yeah.
Either get Skittles or pound cake.
Pound cake.
Yeah.
They had Skittles in them?
So I heard
Oh,
the
shit.
pound cake doesn't hold up very well.
Depends who everybody's case is different. Again, chili with beans had no dessert, but it was cornbread chili. And everyone's like, oh, there's Hank from Kansas. I'm like, Ollie, you're chili and beans all day long.
Yeah, I think the tuna had the best dessert, didn't it?
Yeah, and tuna had the most protein. Yes, that was always a hot commodity.
Is
But
it-
anything was
a lot of them have the gum in it.
some, but there were a lot of cadre. Hey, no gum. So if you got caught chewing, you're dry. I mean, there was all sorts of rules. Some people for it, some people didn't.
Did you guys eat by the numbers?
Well, so and that I was gonna say, talk about eat by the numbers, because that was a RASP thing. That was, I've never experienced by the numbers MREs until I got to RASP, and that was awful.
Yeah, so when you're all in the corral, which the corral is literally a corral. It's a roped off.
I'm just picturing a bunch of cattle.
No. It's a
We
rope.
were with our rucks bent over, sad.
It's a roped off circle, probably the size of this garage right here, but roped off circle, and that's where you sleep too. That's where you keep your packs. That's where you sleep. That's where you eat.
How many in here?
Oh, by that point, I mean, you could have as little as 45 and as most as
You're saying like
75.
size of this garage?
Maybe a little bigger.
Maybe a little
Yeah,
bigger,
but
not
you-
much.
yeah,
You're
you
close.
could-
You're in formations. So
Yeah,
you're-
I mean you're packed in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's time to eat. They say everyone get out your MRE, which is a vacuum kind of sealed bag with who knows, it's less than 10 years old.
yeah.
Yeah. So because I think that's when they go bad, right? 10 years.
I think
Yeah.
something about that.
So
Mine was from Nom.
yeah, everyone open your MREs. And basically you just all eat together and they instruct you what to do. Everyone pull out your main meal. Okay, so you pull out your main meal. Open your main meal. You have 1 minute to consume your main meal. Or is it 1 minute? It might be. I think it's a minute. They give you a minute.
Maybe.
They give you a minute.
Depends.
Consume your main meal. And everyone's eating their main meal.
And I don't know about you, but post-workout, like when you've been huffing and puffing, the last thing I want to do is put anything food related to my mouth.
Makes you want to
puke.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, but you don't puke.
That was
Beaver's scarfed it down in 45
Dude,
seconds.
yeah.
Dude,
No.
you had to. You had to.
I could eat the main meal.
Oh,
But
man.
so here's
Your boy was struggling.
So here's where you get screwed. Everyone get out their crackers.
And usually there's crackers and jam.
Crackers are the size of this phone. And there's 2 of them in a pack.
And somehow they're never broken.
They're dry as shit. Like you take one bite and you're like,
It's eating drywall.
yeah. Everyone open your crackers. Oh fuck. You have 1 minute to consume your crackers.
Sorry, can I put my cheese on it?
You can't drink anything or whatever. Yeah, you have 1 minute to consume your crackers. Well,
Don't
Nope.
most of them come with like a little like
The cheese,
something to put on
cheese spread, jam. No, baby.
yeah. Well, you don't have time.
No.
You don't have time. But
And that's not That's not part of the rules. It's just your crackers.
yeah, so
So you guys were doing like the cracker challenge and all that shit before it was actually cool. And it was online.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, so not everyone's going to do that in a minute. So if you fail, you get punished.
You failed your time hack.
Yeah, you get punished, and I think you get smoked. You're in the push-up position.
So you're doing push-ups on top of your fumbled crackers.
your dry ass mouth just
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you just-
and then they do it again. Everyone get your crackers. You have a minute to consume your crackers, and you just try like hell to eat as much as you can. And there's people who fail back in the push-up position, and you just do that through the whole MRE.
And then you can have a guy that throws up his crackers, and then they go, "Hey, you don't leave that cracker behind.
You
no.
Get rid of this.
Yeah, put it in
And
your
then
pocket.
Put in your pocket.
Yeah.
I want any. You can leave no trace from where we are operating right now. So you put that in your fucking pocket.
Which I understand, like if you're out in the field or something,
No,
like
everything.
I get it.
Everything they do has a reason behind it, but at the time you've no frame of reference. You're like, this just sucks. I'm miserable.
I bet, bro.
I have puke in my pocket.
I will
Not
do
me,
however
but a
many
guy I
push-ups.
know.
Which-
Give me 3 minutes. I will get this cracker down.
So that's eating by the numbers.
No.
What?
The worst part of eating by the numbers was once you get to the condiments. All right,
No.
everybody, consume your ketchup. And I was like, consume your ketchup, salt
Yeah.
packet. Pepper.
Yeah.
I mean, I shit you.
Yeah,
You
either
go through
salt
by the
or
numbers.
pepper.
Everything. You're not allowed to put the ketchup in the main course. You're allowed to put the cheese on the crackers. So you then take your squeezed cheese, and you just see them. And that's what I'm saying. The Cadbury's having a blast. They're sitting there just snickering.
And the thing is, like, from what I've watched on YouTube, none of it tastes very fucking good.
New.
Mr. YouTube guy over here.
Oh, but hey, you get it.
Yeah,
Oh, you get it. You get it, Dre.
Hey.
You've been through it.
Dang, it's all about the hiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
You're like, ooh, good hiss.
We're gonna
I
start,
know this is 9 years old, but it has a hiss.
It has a hiss. Ooh, yeah. It's like
That's how you know it's good.
we're gonna start eating by the numbers in the office.
Grab that taco. Disassemble that taco.
Everyone, you have 1 minute to eat your
You're just eating. You're picking your lettuce out.
Yeah.
That'd be really
That'd
funny.
be funny. Yeah.
We only have a minute on Instagram to put this out.
And
So-
then immediately after, give your rank of what that taco was.
Yeah. The romaine lettuce was not great.
So you get through all this training, you get set up. You got deployed, correct?
Yes.
So when was your first deployment?
2019.
2019?
Yeah.
And you guys didn't deploy together, did you?
We did the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2019, you get deployed. Where do you go?
Afghanistan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How long were you over there?
4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because our deployments are shorter. They're like 4 to 5 months long. So yeah, 4 to 5 months during the summer. So it's pretty warm.
So what's your first deployment? How'd that go?
It sucked because
I was sad.
yeah, no. Yeah, well, it sucked because I was a private, and when you're a private in Ranger Regiment, you're the bottom of the barrel, man. Like because you're not really one of the guys until you have a Ranger tab. Because once you get your Ranger, you got to go to Ranger school to get your Ranger tab, and then you're kind of vetted. You're one of the boys. You're a made man, so to speak.
No, truly made.
Yeah,
man.
but until then, you're a private, no matter what rank you are. Like I was actually a specialist, but I was a private. They just call me private, and you just do all the bitch duties, just the shit they don't want to do. You carry all the equipment, you load all the gear. You're just the new guy, and you get treated as such. So
Putting in your dues.
Full blown rookie.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone looks at just Rangers as like that.
But little they know,
Yeah.
there's a whole pecking order.
Yeah. And the guy that was in charge of us over there, he had been in for like 12 plus years. Had 2 Purple Hearts. He had done some shit. Yeah. So to him, we were just pieces of shit.
Because when he was a private in Ranger Regiment at 275, he was on the operation to retrieve Marcus Luttrell. So he was on. Isn't that correct? That was his.
I think so. I'm not sure.
I remember
Yeah,
first time I was talking about that where he was on because they were stationed in a place and then they got spun up to go retrieve. Again, he was a young buck on the deal.
The guy I'm talking about wasn't first sergeant. He was just sergeant.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. And I don't want to say his name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he would play games with us too. Like he'd get us up in the middle of the night, make us do force rucks and
In Afghanistan?
trying to make us strong. Yeah, trying to make us
In
stronger.
between doing your actual job, then in between that's just dead space of usually guys are training, working out. Training cycle continues. You're getting better at what you do.
I thought like the training cycle would happen on deployment. I just didn't think it would be so much of like constant like mind fucking going on.
It wasn't normal. Like this was just
what he experienced on that is not normal.
Yeah, because we weren't to him. We just
you weren't human beings.
Yeah,
he took it way too far.
Yeah, because you didn't have your Ranger tab. But that's pretty much how it is. If you don't have your tab, you are just you're just a low man on the totem pole. But then once you're tabbed, you're like I said, you're one of the boys, and they accept you, and you're part of the group. Then so.
And you get that after your first deployment?
No, you have to go to Ranger school, which is a whole nother animal.
Okay, so
did you go to Ranger school?
I did.
Right after that first deployment?
Actually, after my second.
After your second, you were private twice.
I was a private for a long time.
And you got to understand, Beaver showed up, looked like a sergeant major. I mean, everybody thought the joke was he was undercover boss.
They thought I was undercover boss.
They all thought like he was just a plant.
Do we give him shit? I don't know.
No,
they didn't trust me. They were like, I don't know, there's something about this guy. He's old as shit.
I feel like you were probably also like,
He's a cop.
I feel like you have that like kind of like soft demeanor, but you were just like a hustler that was working his ass off. That I knew some of those guys I went to school with that they didn't have the loudest voice in the room, but they just worked their ass off all the time. That it was just like you knew that they were competing.
Dude,
Yeah.
and
So
Beaver was the person where if you didn't know him, you underestimated him. But
Yeah.
we had the greatest squad leader. Well, I was fortunate. I had two of the best squad leaders. I had Carrier and Koba, and I just was spoiled. But Carrier, he always knew what he had in Beaver. So he always was, no, you listen to Beaver. And he would ask Beaver questions and, hey, you've spent 10 years as a cop. Tell me, what. And then we had phenomenal team leaders, Shu and Jimmy. And they both were like, hey, people underestimate, people underestimate Beaver, what he can do. And so our squad, we all knew we had him. But other people would always, Beaver. Anything he did, he would be faster, stronger, better shooter. I mean, just everything. But just when they would just see white hair, they immediately hit. But I'm like, dude, look at him. Look at him.
Well, I almost died.
Dude, so the peer group, so our group all respected him and knew. And then his immediate team all knew. But the people in the out, and then obviously when Sean took over, and Sean would always want, hey, what, and Riley and all those guys all wanted, hey, what's your perspective? Especially on our last trip. Like, hey, when we did stuff with vehicles, especially doing a lot more shooting around vehicles, it was, hey, Beaver, honestly, what's the best route? How does this work? So, but other team leaders and our squad leaders were not that way and didn't want to hear anything he had to say and didn't let this dude that had all this experience teach you something because egos get involved. Oh. Well, hold on. Well, no, I've been here longer. Yeah, okay. Just because you signed up sooner, but he's been doing this since 2007.
Yeah.
And he did it every day, he deployed every day as a cop, and then he came in. So you would definitely see some people that were missing the mark, and that's just young guys in leadership positions that just haven't matured yet,
Yeah.
So
Well, and the reason I didn't go after the first deployment is because I almost died. I was a heat casualty. So to go to Ranger School, usually what they do is they get the privates together and they make you do a PT test, which includes a 5-mile run.
In Afghanistan?
No. This is
well, that does happen in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but this is stateside. All the privates, they usually take the top ones and they send to Ranger School. But they do that by giving them a PT test, and whoever scores the best on the PT test, they'll usually send to school. But so what I did is I just went balls out, man. I just ran. Well, it was 9:30 in the morning, May in Savannah, Georgia. So it was like 96 degrees, like 96% humidity.
You're swimming in the air.
Yeah,
you're swimming. I mean, you think Kansas City gets humid, and it does, and it gets hot, but Savannah, Georgia.
So I wanted to. I was like, I'm gonna kill this PT test, and I did. I ran that 5 mile. I was way out ahead of everybody, way ahead of everybody. And then, I don't remember the whole thing, but I started getting kind of incoherent and delusional. We run this. It's a straight shot. 2.5 miles down, 2.5 miles back. But I was getting so confused, I didn't know where to go. And they said I started taking different turns and shit. Eventually, a couple of guys caught up with me, and they're like, no, you need to go this way. But I don't remember the whole probably last mile of that run because my brain was starting to shut down because I was overheating. I even ran into a parking lot and was like running around cars and stuff. I had no idea what I was doing.
That's how far ahead he was, first of all, by the pack. He was flying.
They said when I got to the finish line, I collapsed, and I was unresponsive, basically. Just not, I wasn't there. But they, luckily, the guys in my squad saved me. They got me on a cot, and they got me in, cooled down. They took my temperature.
We'll unplug the as a Ranger, especially 75th Ranger Regiment, it was you have your core things, but obviously fitness number one. You're fit. If you're not, you suck. Good at shooting and communicating. If you're not, you suck. And then medical. All of us are EMT, EMS qualified. Just guys that can do incredible things on the battlefield, and that's learned at a basic RASP level to private. And the statistic is in Ranger Regiment, we've had 0 preventable deaths on the battlefield. And that's basically if you've been shot, extremities and everything like that. Obviously, if it's headshot or heart, not, but just anything that can be stopped with chest seals, tourniquets, and stuff. And so that's the level. So when that happens, you got a bunch of dudes that are running and doing the 5-mile route. They're exhausted, but then they snap into action because one of their guys is down, and they can. Whereas if that had another unit, you don't know. Because if you're at a core temp at 107, 108, 109 for too long, brain dead.
Yeah, 108. Yeah.
So and then
We're at 108 degrees.
He was cooking, and then our medics are the best medics in all of special operations. Our Ranger medics are Doc. I mean, I can't say Doc Mem. All those guys. They're phenomenal. They're just.
Yeah. So I don't remember. I don't remember anything. I do remember my mind finally woke up. I couldn't move anything on my body. I couldn't open my eyes, but my mind started to wake up, and I could feel myself. I could hear the sirens, and I could feel myself bouncing up and down. I was like, "Fuck, I'm in an ambulance." I was like, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. Couldn't open my eyes, but I could start to hear stuff. And all I remember as a paramedic, I heard him say, "Man, this guy's not looking good." And I was like,
"That's the first thing I'd love to hear."
That's what you're.
Yeah,
wrong.
but he doesn't know. He doesn't know I can hear him. But I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "I'm gonna die like this." I was like, "This is sad, sad, sad. I'm gonna die on a 5-mile fucking run in Georgia." I was like,
I just got back from a deployment and I die in Georgia.
I was like, I didn't want to go out like this.
Oh.
And so they get me to the hospital, get me in the emergency room, and then I was there all day into like the evening. I was essentially a paraplegic. I couldn't move anything on my body. The first thing, I could open my eyes and kind of see people around the room. I could just hear the medical personnel, and then I couldn't even lift my head up. I was just there. And then slowly but surely, I started to regain function, like in the tips of my fingers, and then I could kind of start to move my arms, and then slowly but surely, I could sit up, and it was bad. So that's why I didn't go to Ranger school, because I almost died. So, but then
nonchalantly.
But then I eventually went.
But I think that speaks volumes about how much farther our heads can go than our bodies. That most people, they go out and they run. The second their feet start hurting, they're like, "Okay, I'm done."
Yeah.
Or the second it's like,
he
my
definitely
legs.
ran till his body said no, and then his head actually said no.
Yeah, but I feel like that's pushing yourself to a whole different level of.
Yep. I remember you and I. We went on a full blown death run with Carrier, and again, stud of a squad leader. And that was when we were going.
The Kim Light.
You remember? No, it wasn't that one. I mean, we had so many, but there was one where everybody was dying. Team leaders, everybody, the whole troop besides Carrier was crushing it. And then we get back in the parking lot, ready to go back into the warehouse where we work. And I mean, it was just one of those ones. Hey, everybody gather. He was just disappointed. We disappointed Dad. We're all sitting there, and that was where he just hammered home do you understand how embarrassing you guys are right now? If people other saw you guys are wearing 175 scroll on your chest and you all look like shit. You're struggling. Beaver wasn't one of them. Beaver was probably the only dude not struggling, but everybody else, myself included, struggling. And complacency. And he was like, every day you are a ambassador of this brand of being a Ranger, and you go to the commissary, you go back home, and somebody goes, "What do you do?" And you say, "You utter, you're a Ranger, and you look like shit." It's an embarrassment. And he goes, "That is everything in life that you do. You're representing who you are as a brand, as a person." And I remember all of us just sit there, wow, we just completely swing and a miss here, absolutely. So it was one of those moments too, of just the intensity that was brought every day. The easiest part's once you get to regiment, it's every morning. You're only as good as your last run, your last live fire, your last shoot house. You can't hang on what you've done. You're only as good as your last play there specifically. So it was.
And they always say it's easier to get to regiment than it is to stay.
Yeah. Word of the day.
Yeah.
Release for standards. Yeah.
Because once you get there, you have to be on top of your game.
Always.
You have to excel at everything you do, or they'll they'll kick you out.
Some other guys, they're ready to take your spot, you know.
And I think that's a philosophy in life.
Yeah.
That you're either growing or you're dying.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. I think this complacency in life, this just flat line of maintaining, there's no such thing.
Yep.
That it's, if you make it to the top of the mountain, guess what? That mountain's always getting bigger. Guess what? That top peak is getting higher. And it's you have to keep chasing to hold that top peak because there's a whole lineup of people that want to come take it from you. And it's, people get this misconception that it's like you go up and you get somewhere, then it's like that's where that goal was, but it's that goal just became bigger. That goal has to always be getting bigger. That next level has to be higher. That in the game of life, there is no end point to, it's like, hey, you know what? You made it. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. Now maintain.
Yeah.
Because the second you start trying to do that, you actually go down.
Complacency is absolute death. You know, you get complacent, it's over. Whereas it was a constant, hey, you got to be better. Because you would just look to your right. Well, Beaver just smoked that workout. I didn't. What happened? Or, hey, Griff, you know, whoever. We had a bunch of studs that just did really good things. You should always not making the mark here. How do you plus this up, you know? So that was.
So after your first deployment, then you went back out second after you got all better.
Yeah, I got better. Got all better.
got all
He's
better.
not better.
After you didn't die,
But
you
did
went
you
back
die?
out.
And actually, shortly after I got better, it wasn't too long after that, I went overseas again to Iraq. So,
Was the second deployment better than the first one?
Hey, did that have key,
Sounds
did that
like
key
that.
on it?
Huh?
Did that have key on it? No, key wasn't on that. That was on. Or did that?
No, he was.
Yeah.
No, it was. Yeah, it
So
was. It was
key.
better. It was a little bit. It progressively got a little better, but I was still a private though. So
Okay.
I wasn't tapped until my third deployment.
Oh, so you had 3 deployments.
4.
4.
Yeah.
So you said you weren't a
Hey,
ranger
did you only
until-
have one?
I just had one. Yeah,
yeah.
I was a one jump. You know? and I was lucky to have that. Again, when I tell you I was the shittiest dude there possible, that was me. I mean,
No, that's a lie.
dude, I snuck in. I was like, ooh, man.
He's the sad guy that's snuck
I'm
in.
his
He's
plus
like,
one, dude. I got in the cargo hold, man, and the threshold. And I was like, but I had the best team leader. I mean, Riley and Sean know, and Kobe, they know. They and then 6 and 7, can't say, you know, they hooked me up and brought me on, so I was lucky.
But your
Super
deployment,
lucky.
you went over as a ranger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I was with.
Well,
And-
yeah, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, after your second one, that's when you went to ranger school.
Oh yeah, here you go. Yeah,
And then after the second one, is that when you two met, or did you guys
No,
meet before that?
I met him after your second deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the
Before Ranger School.
Before Ranger School, because I showed up in 2019, December 2019. We met, and then that's when I got there, and in process at regiment, got all my stuff, and then you're allotted amount of time, like 3 weeks or maybe 2 weeks, to move your family. So I haven't seen my wife. I haven't been with my wife in well over a year. You know, we saw each other at every major graduation, but other than that, we've been living separately. So finally, have my final duty station in Savannah, Georgia. Carrier said, hey, take your 2 weeks, go move your family, get everybody down here and settled, find a house, buy a house, or rent, whatever you want to do. So I rushed, find a house, bought it, and then went back to Kansas City, moved my family. As I'm moving down, we get beeped basically, hey, we're getting blown out, we're ripping out to, wherever, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting the notification. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with freaking U-Haul, whole family had just got there. I'm sitting there. I just showed up. I'm pumped. I'm fired up. I call Carrier and, hey, am I going? He's like, well, you're on terminally. You know, you're not really on. You know, I don't know what's going on. We don't even know what's happening right now. And then, long story short, I was still on leave, so I didn't make the manifest to go on that trip. You know, so I missed that. So I just stayed back and was on rear D like a fucking nerd, watching and being extra sad. I mean, it's just sad thing after sad thing. You know,
You just barely missed that one.
Ooh, I know, but what I brought nothing to the table, and that was kind of me. He was like, "What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You don't know anything," because I didn't. I just a fresh RASP graduate. I'm not a ranger. I was not a ranger then. I just had my beret. I was not a ranger, so it was not. Yeah.
You were a fresh graduate, and then
He had been in for
You were back after your second deployment. I assume they picked you out of the top.
after his first deployment.
Or-
That was going to be his second deployment. Would have been my first.
Well,
So
his first deployment, he came back, got sick, went back for a second, and then you said they picked the top elite out of the privates to go to Ranger School. Is that when they picked you after that second deployment?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you came back and just fucking clobbered it in Georgia on this next run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Came back and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to pace myself. Not over.
No, he didn't.
No. He said just be in better shape than I was.
He just smoked it again because that's you can't out in shape heat. I don't care who you are. Dude.
I feel like a lot of people after heat exhaustion, like
he will level you no matter what.
Yeah, when you say heat exhaustion, I feel like you had the definition of like the most extreme heat exhaustion.
Yeah, I was a heat stroke.
No, he's a heat stroke.
Yeah, heat stroke, and then most people don't come back after that.
No, but he did, and he came back fitter.
Yeah,
like
he just went out and clobbered it again.
Yeah,
yeah. But I was at Ranger School for over 100 days. So, and Ranger School was 62 days, and I was there for over 100 days.
So why were you there so long?
I love this shit. When you think of sad Rangers,
no, because I got recycled, and
when you got recycled, you said, you know what, that sounds like the trash business.
That'll come later in the podcast.
I'm doing dumpsters.
No, so there's different phases of Ranger School, and if you get recycled, you have to redo that phase. So I had to redo a phase. No, I barely.
We got a new bartender over here. I like this.
I'm sorry.
I'll take one too. You should just yelled at me because I also needed one.
I know.
I was about 2.5 seconds.
I was like, I don't want to make a disruption. I made a disruption.
And look what you did.
For anyone listening on Spotify or Apple, beers are being grabbed.
Yep.
So you said you were being recycled.
Yeah. So there's 3 phases of Ranger School: Derby phase, Mountain phase, and then Swamp phase. I recycled Derby, which is the first phase. So basically, you have to redo it. They basically just send you back, and you have to redo it.
What's that phase?
So Derby phase is in Georgia.
Did you just spend most of your time in Georgia?
We spent all of our time in Georgia.
Pretty much.
So Derby phase doesn't sound like I know what it is. Mountain phase sounds like it's in the mountains. And swamp phase sounds like it's in the swamp.
Spot on.
So,
Dude,
sounds
wizard, dude.
I
don't know how you
I feel like they
that.
really jacked the Derby phase up because I don't know what it means.
I don't know how you figured that out.
I know. Almost a complete genius.
Word to the root
Yeah.
word.
Now, Derby phase is at Fort Benning.
See, no one even knows how to explain that one.
Yeah, you're just leading troops.
Beaver. First, explain the difference between Ranger Regiment with the scroll versus Ranger School. Which
That's
is
what he was confused.
Okay,
on.
yeah, go ahead and just debunk everything.
Yeah, really messed Dre up because Dre's going to then ask a bunch of questions that we answered
because this is
an hour and a half ago.
People have spent their entire careers in the Army and still don't understand. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They
People
have
in
no
the
clue.
Army don't even know.
No, they come up and they just, my son was a Ranger, and they go, oh, but he was. But it's fine. Yeah,
When they say explain things on a 3rd grade level, that's what most people interpret. That's me.
me too. That's who on this side of the table, dude.
Well, let me break it down for you. So you go through RAS, Ranger Selection, and when you make it through and if you graduate, then you become a Ranger. You're sent to a Ranger battalion. You're part of a Ranger regiment. You're considered a Ranger.
You get your tan beret.
Tan beret. You get your scroll that has 1st, 2nd, or 3rd battalion on it. Ranger School is just a leadership school. A lot of commissioned officers go to it because it just teaches them how to lead men, lead a whole platoon. For enlisted guys, it's probably more for leading a squad. But yeah, that's what it is. And then you get anybody can go to Ranger School. You could be in Ranger Regiment. You could be in the 82nd.
Kind of like jump school.
Yeah.
You don't jump.
So you get a
unit.
mix.
Yeah.
I'm thinking next time we should get one of them cork boards with all the strings that go everywhere.
Yeah. So, but Ranger School is a leadership school. It's, like I said, 3 phases. Derby, which is in Georgia. And that's more squad level tactics. So you're leading a squad to certain objectives. And basically you have to lead men that are very tired and very hungry.
So that's you essentially leading RASP. Is that kind of it?
No, Dre, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's
yeah. So RASP is ranger selection. You're basically trying out to be a ranger. You're like trying to.
No, I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
who are the men you're leading at that point.
Yeah, so it's-
fellow people in the school.
Yeah, it's your other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just everyone takes
could-
turn
Yeah.
leading.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Spot
Okay.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. So So you have a class, and then the class is even broken down into different squads. But within your squad, you could have like 15 people, and whoever's turn it is that day has to lead the squad on different missions.
Gotcha.
You got to walk, however many kilometers to an objective, and then on your way, you're getting ambushed. You're getting attacked by opposing forces, and you got to fight through that on the way to your objectives. They always throw stuff at you to try to slow you down, to try to get you off track, and you got to just fight your way through it. But you're being graded the whole time, and this is why I got recycled, because so you lead the patrol, and then you're getting graded by the RIs, and if you don't know what they're looking for. You don't really know if you passed or not.
You're going in a test just blind.
Yeah. So, and I went through when they weren't telling you whether you passed or not. They didn't tell you until the very end of the phase, which is, like 3 weeks long?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you could get 2 looks, you could get 4 looks. When I say looks, that's just your chance to step up and lead the squad. So you have to get a go. A go is basically you successfully led this mission. If you get a go, then you get to go on to the next phase. At the end of the phase, right? You still have to do the entire phase, and you don't know whether you passed or not. So I didn't get a go. I think through Ranger School, as far as my looks, I was like 3 out of 9. I had a rough go. I barely.
At least you're honest about
I
it.
barely made it through Ranger School. Like,
Dude, there's a lot of skill and there's a lot of luck. And the
Yeah.
Ranger tab to Ranger Scroll, there's a lot of controversy in the military, in the Army space of, are you a real Ranger if you have your tab? Are you a real Ranger if you have your scroll? Any person in 75th Ranger Regiment, that's all the battalions will say you have to have this, and there's levels to it, like everything. There are so many levels, and I'm going to go into it because I don't even meet the criteria to the real ones, because there's just levels to everything.
but like I said, I got 3 goes, which that's what you need, because you need 1 go per phase. And I think I had like 9 to 10 looks, which is a lot. So they gave me every chance.
Hey, that's kind of like,
Man,
when
we really want this guy to make it. He just keeps.
Yeah.
it's basically what they say. It's like, hey, you know what you call the person that finished in last in doctor school? A doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I battled a lot of injuries too. I had like injuries in every phase that I had to.
You know when he was bullshitting that medical
Yeah.
deal in the beginning?
Ooh, that one came out quick.
Like,
You're
hey,
absolutely-
did this guy really?
No,
You said that wasn't an issue. So
Yeah, you said you never broke an ankle.
Beaver became the hunchback of Notre Dame out there.
Yeah. So I eventually passed. Oh, well, I was there with 2 other of my buddies, and we were all in the same squad, and they got goes. They went on to the next phase, and I had to stay back. So I got to watch them ride the bus over there, to mountains. So
Off to the mountains they go.
it was a sad day. But then I ended up passing Darby, went to mountains. They both actually passed mountains, so I didn't see them there either. But I saw some other guys that recycled down there.
Sup, long time no see. Got
Yeah.
you guys.
I was, I think I was in line at the porta potty, and I saw a dude from my unit, and I was like, "What's up, man?" Yeah, I was like, "What's up?" But mountains is an animal, because you're carrying a heavy pack and you're climbing up these huge hills, mountains up in the Appalachians, or northern Georgia. So I passed mountains, thank God, but I came out of there with a real bad neck injury. Because when you're in Ranger School, you have everything tied down to you with 550 cord, everything on you, your compass, your map, your gun, everything's tied down to you. you just got strings everywhere. It's just shit.
Just a tentacle farm.
Yeah, and when you're walking through the woods at night, you're just fucking fighting through the woods. And so anyway, I was carrying the machine gun, which was tied down to my body, and then I had a helmet on with. They give you night vision at night, just the simple single eye night vision. So what happened was somehow. I think we just completed a mission and we're doing like a 5K walk back to our patrol base or wherever we're setting up our patrol
Super
base.
simple 5K.
Yeah.
On your way back.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. So,
with a shitty nod that is like this, and you see worse out of it than if you just rocked it like this and just did natural loom. But if you did that, you're dry. You get big. So it's just
a green
this shitty bifocal.
It's just a green blob, and you're like, what the fuck is this? No, but well, somehow my tie down on my machine gun, because you're just a zombie. You're just walking and you're just trying not to fall off the mountain, and somehow my tie down got looped around. My tie down on my weapon got looped around my nods, and so the machine.
He's like holding his gun like this.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is going on?
Now, so the machine gun with ammo is probably, I mean, it might be like 30.
Oh, it's loaded?
It's blanks, but it's heavy.
It's blank. It's like ammunition cases that fire blanks, but and it has a 200 round drum in it, so it's a decent amount of weight. And I didn't even know because I was so tired and I just didn't give a shit. But as I was walking on that 5K, it just kept getting heavier and heavier, and my neck was just getting weighted down, and it got to where I was stumbling, and because it got to where I couldn't lift my head up, and I was stumbling around. I was running into people. I was falling out of the formation.
What's this old guy doing?
This old guy's lost his shit.
Yeah, so
Quit hitting me, dude.
yeah. And this was man, when was this? This was like week 2. Luckily, I had already had a look, which I got to go. I didn't know at the time, but so I had to go through a whole another week with my neck. My neck was severely strained to where I couldn't physically lift my head up. So this is crazy, but the whole last week, basically what I would do is I would tuck my gun under my arm like this, and then this arm, I would just prop my head up, and I walked around the woods. I walked around the woods like this for a whole week.
On a mountain.
Yeah.
What a fucking unit.
Uphill.
Yeah, and I had another look. So I had to lead a squad.
You're going to go. He's pointing the gun. He's like, you're going to go that way.
Why is Grandpa?
Yeah. So it got to where the RIs were like, what is going on? I was like, nothing. What are you talking about? And
look at me. I am looking at you.
yeah. But it all came to a head. Yeah, it all came to a head on the last night. It's kind of embarrassing, but it was so bad that I was like linking up with other squads. I didn't even know where I was at because my field of vision was I could just see the back of people's boots. Like I couldn't even look up to see like who they were. So I was just following people around. I didn't know where I was. I was running in the trees. So eventually, luckily, it was a guy that was a Green Beret from 5th Group. He said, dude, come here. Like, he knew I was, like, hurting bad. So basically, he tied himself to me. And
what a stud.
This dude pulled me around for a couple days. He just pulled me around. And because I was a mess. But so the last night, another, 5+ K walk to wherever we're going to set up our patrol base. And I was hurting bad. Like I was stumbling, almost falling down, and I was falling way out of the formation. So basically they just stopped me, and the RI was standing right in front of me. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, nothing. I was like, I'm good to go. He's like, look me in the eyes. I was like, I am. I was like, I am. He's like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. Yeah. But then he's like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, I was like, my neck. Well, so
my neck and my back.
The fear is,
I literally can't bring my neck up.
So the fear is if you have a bad injury, you're going to get kicked out and have to you'll either never be able to come back, or you'll have to start all the way over, like day 0. You go back to Darby and start all over, or you at least go back to the beginning of mountains. So I try like hell to just lie and just try to get through it. But they knew the gig was up, and I was like, my neck it's hurt bad. So they loaded me onto an Army ambulance, which is just like a truck with. It's got like 6. They just like shove you in there like a freaking meat wagon, and then just the whole way back.
Second free ride, baby.
Yeah, but the whole way back, I was just it's bumpy as shit, and I'm just bouncing up and down. I'm like, yeah, it's over. I was like, I'm going home. So they take me to the little med unit or the little whatever it is, the little aid station, and the doc comes in and he's gonna assess me, and I basically just lied my ass off. I was like, no, it feels good. Like he was doing
after all the bumping on the way down, I think I'm fine.
Cleared me up.
And I just, all the strength I had, I just kind of tried to look up best I could. He's like, all right, because luckily that was the last night, and all we had was the next day iteration was basically just a long walk back to like the main camp. And I was able to do that, thank God. And
You're like, suckers, I already made it halfway to med camp.
Yeah.
I got half the walk now.
I know. So, but I know I passed mountains and then went on to Florida, which is swamp phase.
What was the time frame in between those? Were you able to get your neck fixed?
No. Oh, no, it's the next day.
Next day, you're on.
Yeah, like once you graduate, or not graduate, but once you
Pass
pass
the next
mountains, yeah. Sometimes they jump in. They do airborne operation into Florida.
So if you're in Ranger school and you're from an airborne unit, you'll jump. Whereas if you're a conventional unit that doesn't have the jump wings, they'll bust you. And so every person that's a parent will be, hopefully we're not jumping today. We can just catch a few Z's and just get bussed in. But
yeah, because the bus ride from Georgia to Florida, you can take a nap.
Hey, great thing is if you're jumping and you're at least looking down already. Next jacked up, you're like, yeah, I'm looking at the ground.
There we go. There we go.
I bet that's exactly what he was thinking. I bet this will mess up my neck at all hitting the ground like a sack of taters.
But every day in Ranger school is the same. You do the same shit every day. You wake up at like, I don't even remember what it was, 5 or 6 in the morning. You start planning your mission. They give you some, I think they give you just like a little bit of information, and then you start planning your mission. You start kind of planning your route. You start prepping gear. You do that until about 10 o'clock, and then you all prepare to either step off. So you're either walking to where you're going, or they put you in a big Army truck and they drive you out and drop you off in the middle of the woods. And then once you're in the woods, that's when it starts. You're on your route to whatever objective you're going to, and then usually they'll ambush you right away. They'll hit you right away, and you just got to fight your way out of it. And then,
so what's their ambush look like on like training like that?
They have opposition forces, like guys that that's their job in the Army.
I was talking about there's guys that finish infantry school and you go to different units. There's some poor people that just get the sad job to be opposition forces for Ranger school.
They just play.
That's their job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fuck with people all day,
dude. Yeah. And glad they exist, but man, must suck.
So you just fight through the ambushes, and then you may or may not get lost in the woods. You got to find your way out of that. And then there's multiple objectives you got to do from all day. You're walking all day and then all night, basically executing missions. And then I'd say probably about 3 a.m, you start walking. So in Darby, you actually walk back to like a camp area. In Florida, you actually have to make a patrol base. So basically you just designate an area where you guys are going to set up shop. You're going to sleep there. You're going to fortify gun positions. In Florida, you got to dig foxholes. So you got to dig like 6-foot foxholes, but
so you have to.
I like how he just casually says that.
So at 3 a.m, after you just did all that, you're digging a 6-foot hole.
Yeah. So Darby, about 3 a.m, you start walking back. You just sleep on the rocks, kind of like what I was explaining. You just sleep on the rocks, and then mountains, you just sleep in a patrol base. You just sleep on the ground. But Florida, you actually have to dig in a position, You have to dig a big enough foxhole for 2 people to fit in, and then a gun position. And you got to have these facing different directions, so you can basically have security.
Interconnecting sectors of fire. So
this is at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it
Have
sucks.
you been?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
glad
so
runs.
yeah, so and you don't get done digging until about 4. So you're digging for a good hour. So you're just digging where you're going to sleep. Yeah.
You know what, man?
Well,
if it's a foot deep, we're getting shot tonight.
if you're in charge, if that's your day to lead the squad, you're not digging. You're actually like setting up the gun positions, and you're like kind of more planning. It's the Joes that are sleepy and tired that are digging the holes. And then
So when you get to that spot, like I'm just thinking, like I'm in charge. I get there, they come from that way, they come from that way. These 2 holes, like how much, like what other planning is going into that at 3 a.m. in the morning?
yeah, so you're just it just depends. But the main thing is you want to have your machine guns at certain positions. It just depends on the area, like different avenues of approach. But once you're done digging and you got your patrol base set up, you got to dig a trench, and that's where you piss and
a slit trench.
yeah, and that's usually
That's where you do
near
your stinky
the
poo-poos.
yeah, that's usually near the planning area for some reason. I don't know why.
And when
Yeah.
you see a person squatting and shitting while you're planning,
Yeah,
Don't mind me.
well, just be over here.
see the whispering eye.
You're doing great over there, Beaver.
So usually by 4:00 you're done setting up, and then they have you get out an MRE. You eat an MRE, so you only eat twice a day. But what's crazy, this is what sucks, is so you eat an MRE at 4:00, and they usually give you like 10 minutes to eat it. Then at 4:30 they lay you down, and then you wake up at 5, and you eat your second MRE of the day. So basically, you eat at 4, you sleep from 4 to 4:30, or no, you eat and like get ready to go to sleep from 4 to 4:30, and then from like 4:30 to 5 is when you sleep, and then you wake up at 5 and have your second meal. So you've already had your
Your whole
2
daily calories.
You had your 2 meals,
And then an hour and a half.
and you got your half-hour sleep, and then you're back to it. You're planning, you're walking through the woods.
It gives you 23 hours in the day.
Yeah.
so much time to be productive.
But
They really figured out how to capitalize
I
on
don't know
time.
what you guys are doing, but I'm not sleeping.
Those MREs are like 2,000 calories. So you eat the first one, and you're feeling good. You're ready to sleep for 30 minutes. But then when they wake you up and it's like cold and you're not hungry, you're just like, oh God. But you're gonna eat just because that's all you got. So
Hey, Logan, our Whoop bands would be saying our recovery's at like 0.
So at that point, are you able to take like the sweets and shit, like the condiments, and put them in your pocket
No.
later? No, you just gotta eat it all now.
the first
They
2
catch you later. Hey, 11 o'clock tomorrow, were you eating ketchup?
No, but
This guy's sucking ketchup packets.
a lot of them, they say they ration them out like during those times. It's like of eating those condiments and shit for like energy.
When you're at your unit, you can do whatever you want. When you're at your unit on, hey, if you have an MRE to eat, you can. They call it rat fucking it, and that's just you pick what you want out of it, leave the rest. So, I'm gonna have Skittles in my right pocket for later. I'm gonna eat my main course now and everything like that. But for school, it's different.
For school, it's like you fucking eat it all night. You're not eating it all.
Yeah.
because they're always looking for every schoolhouse, every selection is always looking for a reason to drop a person. So if you're not following the rules, bye. It's just they're always looking for the easy ones to kick out are the ones that are not following directions. So it's just how many times people have been dropped for just the dumbest shit. And you're like, man, that guy could have been awesome here, but yeah.
Well, so your squad starts out at like 15, and then once you get close to the end, you usually only have like 7 people, and you still have to carry all the same gear. You have to carry all the ammunition and gear that the 15 people were carrying. Now the 7 people have to carry all of that. So
it just gets harder throughout.
yeah, and you're losing weight. Like I think I lost like 40 pounds total through school. Yeah,
And how long was that through the mountains Florida, and then is it?
So all said and done, it should be like 62 days.
62 days is if you go straight through.
If you go straight through,
but most people
don't fail anything. Most people recycle though.
Yeah.
So if it's a recycle of 100, you have
Well,
you lost 40 pounds in 100 days.
Some guys have been there for 7-8 months.
I was gonna say, what was Nick Bear's claim? He recycled every single phase twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was there for 6 months.
You can only recycle a phase twice.
He was there for 6 months.
Yeah, they're
with 30 minutes of sleep every fucking night.
I mean, when you recycle, you're sitting there and then you're just waiting, so he'll recover on sleep. But yeah, I mean that. But props to him. I mean, he could have definitely said, "All right, this is stupid." But
I don't have to be here.
Props to him. Yeah.
So, yeah, and
then after that, you're.
Dude, you ripped out for another deployment right after that.
Yeah.
Because that was
right
post
when I got
COVID.
back from school.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what? I haven't had any sleep. I've been eating Skittles in my pocket. Let's ride."
Let's go forward.
No, he was in school. He was not eating.
Let's go to war, baby.
Yeah.
So after that, you went out for your third deployment.
Yes.
Not a private this time.
Afghanistan
Yeah.
again?
Fresh tab. No, Iraq.
Iraq?
Yeah.
Was old Hank with you this time?
No, he
And
wasn't.
we were there on the last one together.
Yeah.
He and I were there on the 20. Is that 2021 or 22? 21, right?
That was like recent.
22. Yeah.
Holy fuck! It was 2022.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
God
Because
damn,
it
that was
was-
like last year.
It was like into winter, into spring.
That's right. It was the new year of 22. It was January.
Yeah.
That's when we ripped out.
Because it was actually cold when we first got there.
That's when snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was weird. Iraq snow, but it does.
But we were kind of in the mountains.
The mountains of
areas.
Iraq. Yeah. So 2022, he and I were together on that. And that was from January to April. Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I was doing at that time, but it wasn't that.
yeah.
You're having a good time.
Dude, that's when Beaver came up with this master plan that he's got right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is
So-
leading us into out of his intro, too.
Yeah.
So now that we've covered the intro,
yeah, so I'm the owner operator of KC Brothers Disposal. We specialize in medium to small size dumpsters. Yeah. That might be on the next episode.
we're definitely gonna have to have another episode.
I'm pretty
I've
sure
literally
this
like
is,
I don't think I've been this. I'm looking at 2.5 hours right now that I have not been this like 100% like honed in on his story. That I don't feel like I've gotten this much education in 2.5 hours in a long
I'm not even
time.
going to say that, but even as Dane calls it the peanut gallery, I think they've been watching Intrigued these the exact same as all of us.
Yeah.
This is just scratching the surface, too.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, when Hank came on the first time, he's like, "You have to have Beaver on," and it was like, I don't know how 2.5 hours just went that fast on so much. The typical person walking around today has no earthly idea how any of that runs and operates, and I feel like there's so many people that say, "Oh, I can go do that. I can do that." Blah blah blah. Like bullshit.
Yeah,
Or just like, I'm a ranger. It's like, what did it take to get to that point? And just, you just saying you scratched the surface of like, oh, I did this. But then it's like, you recycled. You literally did all this. Hank says, I was sad for like 4 years out of my life. And it's like, it goes through all this. And I'm just like, what?
And the thing was, there's guys that been in them for 20 plus years.
Oh, man. They've
And
done
that's
way more than us.
And that's where I'm not claiming
Yeah.
anything because I can't. Because the guys that led me were in for longer, in a harder time. Guys stayed in, I got out. So I'm not going to claim, because
You guys
there's
did
dudes that
more.
are doing
You guys did
unbelievable
more than
things.
any of us in this room, and we appreciate you guys for everything you've done, and everyone that is currently in the military, previously served. We appreciate and we thank you guys for everything you guys have done.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you hit that threshold at the end. What makes you want to get into being an entrepreneur?
Well, the military is a grind. It's especially for my age. It's a young man's game.
Well, definitely after the stories we've just heard, it
Yeah.
sounds like a fucking grind.
It ages you in dog years.
Yeah.
Well, and towards the end, me and him took a few hard landings on some airborne jumps. Actually, I think the same jump.
Same
we
jump.
we both had hard landings, where we smacked our head on the back of the ground or on the ground. We're like, man, I don't know if we keep this up.
just one jump. They're like, yeah, you know what?
Hank's first tour, Beaver's fourth. He's like, man, hard hit. And Hank's like, I know, dude.
I'm ready to call it in, dude.
Well, with the heat stroke and the concussions and the bad,
up.
I'm just like, I'm gonna be brain dead before it's all said and done. So
I'm just picturing both your guys' stories now that we've heard like the bare minimum, but it's like Beaver's over there. He's like, man, I literally forced my way through it. Hank's like almost drowned. And was it Jack?
Yeah.
Jack pulled me out, saved my life, and it's like that was all training. Then we went over there, hit the ground really hard. I thought that was it.
yeah. So no, the last deployment we were in our little hooch there, just wargaming. We had our pen, pad of paper, and we were just getting after it, drinking our coffee and just planning life after the Army.
Yeah.
So
no, it's cool because you watch Beaver with so much experience of life, and you'll have. That's what's cool about the military, but special operations community, dude. There are people from every walks of life. You talk about a guy, ex-NFL stars, Johnson. You got Raider. He was a gas man for Austin Dillon.
Crew.
Austin Dillon, number 3 car. And Raider, he's out nice back on the circuit. And you got guys, Marquette lacrosse players, and you got all sorts of people. And they're all in this melting pot, and you're just sharing information. You got a guy like Beaver, and then you have these young people that are all circled around. And Beaver's just, hey, when you have your money, save it and invest it and do this. And so people were so lucky to have him instilling all this stuff, because you'll have older guys that just didn't know any of that. And Beaver's there just put on a clinic. Just, hey, all right, so you do this, and then you take that, and you do this, and people are just sitting there just, which is so cool. Everybody's downloading. Oh my God, I didn't know this, and then we would sit there and talk about business of, hey, I'm doing the mattress thing. What are you going to do? Because I knew he was thinking about a private security company, something like that. And then all of a sudden he goes, hey, man, I'm doing dumpsters. And I'm like, genius.
I'm all in.
Because I know it'll be perfect for you.
We were running the numbers on it. I'm like, let's go.
And we just kept on drawing out. And we go, man, what's going to be like in 2024? And here we are.
We're on a podcast.
Yeah, we're on a fucking podcast. Yeah. Dude, and in Iraq, sitting there just like with our pen and paper. I mean, dude, I still have that chicken scratch, and just with our coffee. And there was somebody took a picture of us, and we're just sitting there hunched over this upside down crate talking about the future, and here we are. So thank you guys for letting us even be here.
It's pretty cool that was not that long ago. I know, of what you guys have turned it into so quickly, but. It's also, I think that speaks volumes on, it's a different level of work ethic that you instill that in anything, magic happens.
Well, dude, when I think Beaver, there was nothing. This didn't exist. This didn't exist 7 months ago. Like mine, I inherited a lot of stuff. I'm very, very lucky and fortunate. Like this company did not exist. And then here it is, and it's thriving. It's only going to get bigger. I'm just... where you hear other veterans, I don't know what to do. And it's just, are you kidding me? Here's this guy, testament to take the skills you've learned in the military and directly apply them, and you will be successful.
But it's also one of those things that I've seen people in the digital space do absolutely nothing to make a footprint. And you hustle day in and day out on a digital footprint that not even having the knowledge base to know how to do every bit of it correctly. No. But it's still putting it out there, taking those first steps. So that was when we first ran into Hank, it was the same thing, that he's like taking those steps to do it. And he's already figuring out those baby steps. It's like getting some traction, that it's like he has that fire and it's like time to put gasoline on it. Mm-hmm. But it's like you're sitting there, you're already hustling, you're doing those things. And it's like, I just have mad respect for that, because that was where I started. That's where MMG started. That's where it all started. And MMG's 3.5 years old, but me in the marketing space started 5.5 years ago. And it started from ground zero, where I was putting stuff out there that was fucking terrible. And it was just like hustling. That people were saying shit like, that's not very good. You need to hang it up. You don't need to be doing that, blah, blah, blah. And where the fuck are they at now?
Right. Exactly. Where's their podcast?
Yeah. Exactly. Where's their podcast? Where are their 100+ clients that they're working with? Where's all that? Yep. Where's their company at?
It's about saying something you're going to do, because in the instance of you guys talk about being on a podcast. When you guys were over there, this wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's a trip to think about.
Because
Yeah.
even if, I think it was March. Was it March? Yeah, March 1st is when this launched of 2022. So this launched.
We're in Iraq.
Yeah, we're in Iraq doing right that.
Yeah, so this launched March 2022 because Dane, February, opened his mouth. He's like, dude, we should do a podcast. Everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. And then it's like fucking February 27th. Dane's like, dude, I don't have anything for a podcast. And he's like, I said I was going to do it. But we sat there and over that weekend span, we sat there and built the entire podcast, which actually started in the basement here.
Yeah.
And then transitioned to the office, which is now actually back at the house just because it's more enjoyable here. We can smoke cigars and be degenerates.
Yeah.
But the transition of everything is you said you're going to do something, do it, and then critique it along your way.
Right.
Do something.
And that's...
Do something.
I talked to so many people. I talked to someone last weekend where I'm like, they're like, man, I want to implement like X, Y, and Z. I'm like, just do it.
Yep.
And I'm like, you can sit there and critique it till it's perfect, and then it'll just never get done.
It'll never do something rather than being trying to focus so much that's perfect, and then nothing happens. You don't do it at all. You're like, no, that's not perfect.
Just start now, and then along the way, critique it, and it will become perfection along the way.
Yeah.
But if you just sit there and critique it along the way.
You guys doing that, like I was all in, my dad was all in, but when my dad met you guys, you're all young, significantly to him. And he goes, Dane is a guy that when, like you said it, when I do something I'm going to do, whether it's right, wrong, or different, I'm doing it. And my dad saw that in this company, and a lot of other 60-year-old people are going to be, oh, what is this? And he goes, I haven't met young people that are that. I don't care if it's right, but that's the hill I'm dying on. Is I said it, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that is missing in the younger generations. If you're going to say something, just do it. And you're doing it. And Beaver and I are talking about this on the ride up. I'm sitting there. What small business place provides this platform? Because every single coffee, get together, chamber of commerce, all these small, it costs money. It costs a meet. Everything is just strings attached. Whereas you guys are providing a platform for tiny businesses like ourselves to just get a little bit of stuff out there, and it's incredible. So thank you, because
I appreciate that a lot.
It doesn't exist.
And that's why, like, today we were having that conversation at the office that the podcast up to this point has been very kind of concealed to our client base. And it's something that I want to open that up. Mm-hmm. That it's something that our network has grown so quickly that I've been in a very fortunate spot. And same thing with all of MMG is we've got to experience business growth and business knowledge on like hyper focus, where we have I have connections with 100 business owners that we're working with all the time. That I'm seeing what's working in their. Wow, Dre, could you try to make more noise? But I get to see what's working in their business, what's not working in their business, and I get these veteran business owners that I get to hear the do's and the don'ts like so quickly that it's like I'm getting to learn these mistakes not to make. So it's like I get in front of these people, and it's a lot of times they're looking at us as like they're really appreciative that we're there to help with acquisition of business, which that's the main pain point and problem that we're solving for a lot of people. But realistically, I'm really thankful to get to sit at the same table with these experienced business owners and learn how they've managed people differently, learn how they've maybe done accounting differently, how they've learned taxes, how they've done all these different things as a business owner, what it looks like implementing health insurance, like
Health is a big one.
just all these different
Big
things
one.
that like we didn't know.
Yeah.
I've been put at a spot where I have like a full resource book right in front of me of every person that knows how to do all these things and that has the experience. So it's like, I am beyond thankful to be able to sit at this table week over week and sit with business owners that have experience that we don't have.
Yeah.
That it makes us that much better. And it's getting to learn the stories of business owners that everyone always sees that the successful business owner, they see the final result. Because guess what? At the beginning, not everyone's following.
Right.
Nope.
At the beginning, there's not 100,000 people sitting there like, you got this,
No,
you
like
got
I said,
this.
majority
Like,
are saying quit.
yeah, you have like
It's
one
like,
person,
You know you're gonna fail, right?
maybe
You've
two
already put it in
people.
the atmosphere.
You have a very, very, very small group of people standing in your corner saying, hey, you know what, you got this.
And there are incredible people. I mean, just the people that share your like just our level of Facebook posts, and I see our friends and family and supporters that just do that tiny little share, and I'm so thankful that exists,
And
because without them, we don't exist.
Oh, Dana and I were talking is the videos you've been putting out even before we started, or we haven't started yet, but we're starting and we have all that content lined up to go. But the videos I sat there and the day you follow, like anytime someone follows me, I check out their page. I showed Dane before. I'm like, dude, look at this. I'm like, this is funny. I'm like, if we can just critique it a little in the correct way, I'm like, it's gonna launch. And even one of our content individuals are like, dude, this is gonna be legit.
And it's understanding that and understanding like how that can go into business.
Yeah.
And it is crazy because there is a big disconnect from the older generation to our generation.
Yeah.
Right now, where they're saying that there's a social media wave that it's a new way to acquire people's attention. Marketing has changed very, very, very quickly. That you look at the housing space during COVID. Look at the automotive space. Look at how fast and how many years of change just happened in the last 2 to 3 years. We just experienced 10 years of change in 2 to 3 years.
We experienced an all-time low and an all-time high within almost the same year.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like you experience this huge, vast like swing that normally happens over a 10-year span.
Right.
And we just saw it happen like that. But the same thing happened in the marketing space. You just didn't see it in front of your eyes. And it's like, but it's like if you watch the numbers of what's happening behind the scenes of all these platforms and people that really paid attention, you can catch it. And that's where it's like, that's where we're at right now is we're catching it. And a lot of, I thought like every marketing agency or like every person in marketing, I'm like, oh, they see this too, right?
They kept other marketing agencies kept using the terms, let's steal their attention, let's this. And once I heard you guys say, let's earn their attention, let's earn their business, that lined up with us perfectly because it's provide. If you're going to do content, provide helpful content to help people. Hey, for me in the bedding industry, we're going to just provide helpful content. Whether you can buy from me or not, you'll be better served to buy a mattress wherever you are located. That'll be the same for him with dumpsters. I mean, because there's too many different avenues of topics in life that we have to somewhat cross over. There's going to be a time you're going to need a dumpster. You don't know when, but it's going to happen, and you don't want to have to spend all the time research. You just hopefully that professional is trustworthy and has done that process for you to provide you the best product. You guys are here to allow us to get in front of those people to say, hey, we're here to help you not get completely,
and
you know.
You build that top of mind brand. And when you build that top of mind brand to someone, like you said, I may not need a dumpster today. But if you just stay in front of people consistently all the time with good content that you earn their attention, when they think of a dumpster, they'll think of you.
Dumpster guy.
And it's like, that's where we've had so many people critique us when we started on, we don't push marketing enough on our content. When we started doing Taco Tuesdays, I had everyone critique us. We spend $1,000+ a month on tacos.
Which sometimes are good and sometimes are not.
Most like financial people would be like, that's absolutely idiotic. But if you look at our reach on taco reviews across all platforms, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
You look at how much time and effort goes into these podcasts every week. With cutting reels, with distribution, with everything else, most financial people would say that's a terrible move. But we've counteracted a whole entire sales department because of this, because of taco reviews, because of the audience we've built. It'd probably take 5 to 6 employees in-house, salespeople working all the time that we'd be paying out to counteract what we do with ourselves organically.
It's well worth it. Yeah.
So it's like I look at that as a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And you're doing a great service. Again, putting other small business in front of people. Those taco restaurants, they're getting opportunity to be in front of people.
Unless they're bad.
But it's just, what publicity are you getting otherwise?
Yeah.
Well, this is a mutual thing on the same end of, with the reels we cut up, it goes to you, it goes to us. It benefits everyone that's on in that aspect.
Sure. But this is your clipped reel from our last podcast is the best piece of content we've had.
And it's funny because
Like
when you start collabing with people, like I look at it as we collab with you, and that's where this is a mutual, benefit for everyone that comes on here. Like, yeah, it benefits us. I'm not going to lie to someone, but guess what? It also benefits you, and it benefits you because
benefits me more because that didn't exist a month ago.
And it's something that
I'm not going to go there. You guys have been doing good.
But we did not exist on a social
Beaver
platform,
even laughed. He's like, yeah, they've been doing good.
But on other levels, what my dad and uncle have done on a different avenue, bar none. But on the social platforms, we just.
But it's like you throw that collaboration up. That collaboration goes up with you. I get on Instagram next morning, and we have 25 followers, and every single guy I'm clicking on is some dude from Special Forces.
Yeah.
That's all into an audience base that we didn't have before. That grows our audience base. Now there's 25 people that are paying attention to what Moss Marketing Group is doing.
Yep.
And then you're going to get people following you
big time
that are from the Moss Marketing Group umbrella. And then it's just like you just keep it's this spider web gets so big so fast.
Oh, isn't it great? You do good business, we do good business, we all do good business together. Makes sense to me.
And that's what that's the only reason I've been a little bit iffy about opening this up.
Yeah.
Because I will say that to date, the people that sit at this table, like we eat dinner every single night before this.
You feed us.
And it's like, I'm going to sit there and break bread with someone before a podcast. And it's like the people that come on here, I also do have a relationship with. Like Beaver, you have connections with Corey and you have connections with Hank, which both people I have very, very high standards of both of them. So it's like if you play in with those guys, it's like, yeah, you're square with me. But it's the people that come on this table, people know that there's like a standard of person that comes on here that when those reels are going out, I have zero issue if someone's like, oh, you're associated with KC Mattress City. I'm like, yeah, 100%. Hank's the fucking dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're associated with Beaver? Yeah, that's the fucking dude. Like, if you're associated with Corey, like, I'll stand up for those dudes in a room that they're not in.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Rare. Yeah.
So,
but that's the thing is standing up for a company where every company we work with, we believe in it just as much as they do. And I believe that's why the marketing works.
Yeah.
Is because one is you have companies that take on other companies that's like they pay us.
Yeah.
Like we want you to succeed as much as you want to succeed.
Yeah,
sometimes I feel like we want it more.
No, I can feel because when you guys came in, both of you, but when Ricky came in and Ricky's picking out, hey, what's the best form of content for here? And I'm watching all of these guys that are all perfectionists in their own. Watching one kid goes one way with the camera, he's filming this. One guy's going that with snapping photos. My dad and I are both looking at each other going, we've dealt with coming. That doesn't exist in this space. And we both were talking about this is a missing aspect in small business. This, what you guys are doing, does not exist. And then you guys are filling that need because we've never felt more important ever than having, no, what do you think this will work? And you have your organic ideas that you think will work. And then you're allowing us to say, well, maybe this, and then we run with it, and that's.
And I think it's always a collaborative group effort to move a business forward. And that's where I saw a huge missing piece in the marketing space was people came in and I'm going to say that they were like these huge presentations I would get. Then I'm like, you have no earthly idea what our business model is.
It was a presentation before they ever even spoke to you about what you need.
Correct.
So they don't know what you need. They don't know what your wants are. They don't know
they don't know who our competitors are.
Yeah, they don't know anything about it. And it's like they're sitting there going over this huge thing. I'm like, you got a bunch of info off the internet.
Yeah.
That you just slap together some deal that, oh, great, that that X amount of cars are sold in Missouri every month. so now all of a sudden you know a bunch about our business.
Yeah, you're professional at it.
Yeah, I'm like, bullshit. Like,
very, very cookie cutter.
yeah,
Very.
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. I look at every business has a personality to it, and we're selective on businesses we work with, but it's when we're selective on them, and I knew the first time that we met you that I was like, they have something here.
Just got to get it out there.
I go,
Yep.
and that's the thing is like, the credit's not on us. The credit's on, we work with great businesses. The world just needs to see them.
You guys are just highlighting the fact
Exactly.
that,
and
great
it's
businesses.
it's a missed mark how many great businesses are out there that are small. They just don't have that voice, and you guys are getting, because I look at what my uncle and my dad have done, and my mom, and every person that's part of Casey Mattress City from the 80s on. What they've done is phenomenal, and I just want people to know about that, what they've created.
Yeah.
I've been handing this awesome business that they've spent 35 years building and perfecting, and I'm hearing people going elsewhere, and it's like, you're missing out on what these awesome people built. And I just want to get it in front of human beings in Kansas City and know, hey, we're here. We exist. We are as good as we're better than the big guys. And you'll get a small town feel while you do it.
Beaver said it correct. It's that cookie cutter aspect of sitting there. It's like, if I can do the bare minimum, it'll get me by. But it's like, or I can succeed, and everyone sitting at this table and even everyone in this room, I know, has exceeded something to be where they're at today. You're not just sitting there. It's like the day of you doing that cookie cutter service doesn't get you by anymore. Social media, anything, a review, anything, it's like that stuff will take businesses down. Now it's like you look at any one of our reviews in this room has gotten us here to this point because you take that extra step after the service is done. You look at your reviews. I've read through them. They're phenomenal. Before we take on a business, it's something that you look at those reviews and it's like, is this a company we want to work with?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we are very fortunate now to be at a point where we actually get to vet the clients now, where it's like, are you a good fit for us?
But it's when we
Makes
have
sense.
those like clients come our way, like we have a lot of companies come our direction now, but it's like, I want people that we can do this with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the glory of what we've built is like being able to do this. This is the fun part. This is the part that's like, I've sat here for 2+ hours just like in awe of listening to you guys talk, that I'm like, just the coolest thing to get to see, and then to see you guys transition into entrepreneurs, and then see that it's like,
You guys were
Having-
sad for so long, but now entrepreneurs.
I don't think
invest-
Beaver was. I
Yeah.
don't think Beaver
No.
said he was sad at one point. I think it was just Hank.
I think Beaver was like, I was in pain for so long, and I got there, and then Hank's like, man, I was just sad for like 4 years. Got it.
Just embrace the self.
Yeah.
Embrace this up.
Just being comfortable being
No.
uncomfortable. That was, and then what Coe would always say, just manage expectations. So nothing's
Well,
going to phase me anymore because I'm always prepared to be let down. So when I don't, what a win.
But that's the thing
Win.
is, you said be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I feel like growing that business to the next level is you're uncomfortable.
I'm
And
constantly uncomfortable.
you've been uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Beaver has been, and he won't say it, but I feel like at a lot of points he was uncomfortable. I know Dane's been uncomfortable. I've heard it, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
everyone's been uncomfortable in position. And it's like, to get you that next level, it's not going to be fucking easy.
The only way to success is finding that uncomfortable state.
Yeah.
And you have to become so comfortable with being uncomfortable that if you just live in an uncomfortable state all the time, which I feel like that's something you guys were like bred into almost.
Yeah.
Like
Was-
beaten to their head.
Yeah.
Dude, you think, you've probably forgotten this, but when I just think of just basic infantry school and you're sitting there and you've been up all day, you're doing Army stuff, you're doing infantry stuff, and then you get a classroom portion and, hands on lap, you're just sitting there because they would say, hey, if elbow ends up on table, then arm comes up, hand goes in, or chin goes in hand, and once you start feeling comfortable, you're wrong. Because it's not that, it's that this will lead to this. It'll lead to sleep. And that's wrong. So just the minimum part of being uncomfortable, you're wrong. Because that will lead to you being sleep, which means you'll miss the brief, which means you will not be spun up on the op, which means you will get people killed. And that's the most extreme scenario. So on business, my dad and I are talking about, we're comfortable with our ad spend. We're comfortable with who's coming in. Well, now we're stagnant, which is complacency, which we're not going to grow, which means and that's we're constantly looking who's going to help us and how are we going to make this shit grow and service more people.
So Dane's and I's wasn't as extreme, but when I got brought on in the very early days, Dane and I remember this is before we even adventured to the basement. Early days, we were in a bedroom, but we were in a bedroom and we had quite a few accounts, and Dane's we can do this and be comfortable, live very comfortable lives. And he's we'll just be a small marketing company, and he's we can service better than anyone else around. Or he's we can take it to the next level. And we both sat there, and I'm not even going to say it was a very long thought. It was let's make this fucking big.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm going to say a day maybe, the next person's problem. But it's we're going to do it, and it's went straight back to uncomfortable. But then since then, now we look where we're at from then to now. I'm going to say a year and a half ago, we moved into a new space, and now we're looking at more space.
It's awesome.
But it's we were in how big is that room?
I don't know, 14 by 14 maybe?
14 by 14 room. But it's now to
your office.
Thousands of square feet.
A small football field.
Awesome. But it's we just look at expanding. It's looking at that in a 3 to 3.5 year time frame to where it's going to be in a 5 to 10 year time frame.
Yeah.
And Dane set goals of where we want to be at in a 5 year time frame, and we achieved that in almost a year and a half.
Well, my
that's awesome.
problem with setting goals in the early days, I didn't really
very conservative.
I didn't really understand the multiplication of manpower. That's something I think a lot of small business owners
definitely
huge misunderstanding. That now what we knock out in a day would have taken me a month.
Yeah.
We get what my goals used to be in a month, we achieve now in a day.
And it's beyond the palpable.
And it's
beyond what you're saying, that people don't know what that even means.
And it's it's hard to they don't know what that means. It used to be it took me 30 days to even be fully ready to onboard another account.
Right.
And now I'm we're onboarding accounts daily, and it's just it's when they're calling, they're oh, is this going to be a month out? I was no, Drake can call over, get it onboarded and everything. We'll have content people out there first next week, and it's
and punctual.
But
boom, you're there.
But setting up those processes in place, which before is man, we have we can do X amount this time. Now it's we have the power to where it's hey, we had 4 people come our way. Bam, let's knock it out. We know the process is going to place, new onboarding, how it's structured. They come on, immediate rollout. Where it's a lot of people what's the lull period? This is your money. You know you need to make money. We know you need to make money. Yep. We get the lull period, shouldn't be a thing. So we sit there, we restructured it. So it's hey, we want to hit the ground running and push it out as fast as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's your money. We know it's your money. We push it out, and that's what everyone on our team's on board with that structure. So when it rolls out, it's hey, customers in mind, we're second.
Definitely,
and it benefits everyone.
They've proved that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we could definitely have this podcast for hours on hours on hours.
They're gonna be
I think we got
this episode 8 hours.
I think we got cameras dropping on us over here. So Beaver, any final thoughts? We are going to have another one that's just going to be a strict business talk. We're going to come on. It's going to go straight.
Wait, because when you came up with your business, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've been following you guys for a while. Love the content. Love what you guys are doing. The growth. Actually, I think Henry was kind of looking for some marketing, and I was hey, I know some guys. I don't know them, but I've been following them. And I was hey, MMG, man, check them out. They're pretty cool. And that's kind of what led to.
If Beaver says it, then I believe it.
I appreciate it.
You didn't shout Beaver out when you fucking came in, bro?
No, he told me.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I think I told him off the
yeah,
back. Because I was like,
so-
"Hey, Corey led Beaver, which Beaver led me."
Yeah, and I
And
saw
that was-
Corey. I saw Corey on the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and
So-
it's pretty cool how that web just keeps growing, and it's
Yeah.
I have so like I appreciate so much that we're even we're getting put in the mix for someone to talk to, because I tell people too, it's like, even if it's a referral, that doesn't mean it's a sure thing. Like,
Sure.
we still have to come in and provide the service. We still have to come in and do what we need to do. But in the beginning, I told them, like, as we were scaling, I was like, all we have to do is get put in the ring. I go, if we can get put in the ring, then we can show people what we can do.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's all I ever asked for, is just give
Yeah.
us a shot.
Seat at the table.
Just, that's all we need.
Yep.
And it's like,
because he let me hear, then I'm thinking of, one of the best military entrepreneurs that I know very personally, and he's done a lot of things for me. He's one of my best friends through high school and college. But Scott, his father, Kirk Anderson, he was a Green Beret, and then he started a very successful company with him and his wife Melissa. Scott, my good buddy, he's taken it over with his family and everything. And then I've got my buddy Joey Lillis. He did our entire landscape, and he's a firefighter in Olathe, Kansas, and just the stem grows, and we've got all my buddies from K-State and local that are all, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? And it started with Corey to him, to me, to that, and I'm just, hey, when you get up and running, come talk to these guys, because.
so just so you know, we get this up and running marketing wise for you. I know that there's a couple other stems off of it that'll probably be happening pretty quickly. And when those
Stay tuned.
when all that gets moving, I have some grander plans, and that we want to do something to help all you guys that served our country.
Cool.
That we have a grand scheme and plan that we could put in place at some point. That it'll be coming in 24 for sure. But yeah, you'll have to stay tuned for that. But like I said, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But
What are we hitting, the 45-minute mark?
yeah.
Yeah. A little over that.
Yeah.
Casey Brothers Disposal.
right.
3 hours
Yeah.
blew by pretty fast there.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
appreciate you coming on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely be having another.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Yep.
got to ask him the final question.
Oh, yeah.
You can't jip him on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You go back to your 20-year-old self. What are you telling yourself?
Just bet on yourself.
Bet on
Bet
yourself.
on yourself.
I can agree with that one.
Put in the work.
Put in the work.
Yep.
There you go.
Bet
That's
on
it.
yourself. Put in the work.
That's it.
I felt like he listened to a podcast and he was ready for it.
No, that's it.
Dude, this is all he knows is
That's
work,
the secret
man.
sauce right
Yeah.
there.
Hey,
Yeah. Just
This
put the
dude's a
work in.
grind.
I will say, from the last 2-3 hours, I think you've been putting in the fucking work for a long time. And
A long
congrats on that, because
Thank you.
a lot of stories I've heard, someone has crippled at some point and rebuilt. I felt like you have not crippled. You have just kept trucking along. And props to you.
Appreciate
That's
that.
huge.
Thank you.
Spot on.
And also, like I said, thank you both for what you've done for our country. Anyone out there that served, thank you guys.
Thank you.
So
Thank you both.
thank you guys. We will be posting everything for Casey Brothers Disposal below, and we'll be tossing Hank in there with Casey Mattress City.
Casey Mattress City, baby.
Yes.
+1.
You need a mattress. You need a dumpster. These are your dudes. That is the M3 podcast. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.